Hello everybody. So today I wanted to take a look at one of the new features for Mario Maker 2, the level tags. I've heard a lot of people talking about how most levels right now are just themed short and sweet levels. Obviously a lot of speedrun levels have also been rising to the top of most popular, and multiplayer versus as another new feature. A lot of levels are getting tagged as that, some justly so, some big yikes. But I wanted to take a look at some of these I've seen less, and I've seen other streamers and content creators playing less. I figured we'd start with the easiest one, Auto Mario. I'm assuming this will also overlap pretty heavily with music levels. At least in Mario Maker 1, a lot of auto levels were music levels. So we're just going to start here though and maybe come back and try some of the others. I haven't played a bunch of puzzle levels yet, so I'd be interested in checking out puzzle solving as well. But for this video, we're going to focus solely on Auto Mario levels by popularity. So it looks like the most popular one right now is called Mario Kart. Notably, you'll notice that it has an older clear date than either second or third place, and it has a clear condition. So I'm guessing, just from looking at the thumbnail, that we're going to get in that car, and then that'll get us to the end. So the clear condition, yeah, it's just that we have to get to the end in this Koopa car. So I'm not sure how much we'll have to do any kind of directions or jump on anything. If it's auto, I'm just holding forward right here until I end up needing to do something else. Overall, this is kind of cool. I haven't gotten to mess around with the car very much so far. I've truthfully been kind of avoiding Mario 3D World because, I don't know, just it's the new thing, and wanted to get my basics under me with all the regular game modes first, but just switching directions when the arrows told me to. I mean, it's cool to see the car bounce off all these things. Nothing really new, though. I don't know. That's a cool level, but I'm hoping we can find better. Automatic Mario, don't move. So I'm just going to hit A. We're going to see what happens. Okay. That's really cool. The spring caught the muncher, so it just barely didn't get me. Oh, I love the idea of using on and off switches for sections like this. I'm guessing that's going to bring a lot to interesting design. That's very cool. I was wondering how I was going to live through all of those Koopas. Very cool contraption there. Wow. I like how the timer, you'll notice, is very tight. So like it kind of, it's like watching on a YouTube video and seeing how long the video is going to be to know how close to being done with it you are. Like this level can only go on for another 18 seconds, so. I love all those tense moments where it just looks like you're dead as well. This is what I expected to find towards the top of auto levels. Like that's really cool. Thanks, Play. Thank you for making. That was really dope. Yeah, someone that would be a really cool level, I feel, to see what that speed strat is. I'm not gonna try to figure it out, but just getting through all of that machinery to try to get to the end, 26 seconds, that's so fast. I liked it. Next up, just run and don't jump. So I'm just going to be holding Y and forward the entire time and see what happens. I'm a little surprised we haven't found a musical level yet. Like I said, I kind of expected music to trend towards the top. Interesting. So this one has a very tight timer and 51 Goombas to kill. Okay, that shell took care of most of the heavy lifting. I like how it hit us just in time for us not to lose. Oh! That's really cool to use the same shell again. Wow. And the little smiley face. That one was really cool. Again, like the tight timer and the Goomba counting to tell you like how close to the end of the level you are, like it creates almost like this tension, especially because he let us see the um, the flagpole when it was still blacked out and had the dotted line around it, and then we see it pop up just in time as we jump off that last Goomba. Very, very cool. Another Japanese level here. Look at that me. I love that little mohawk. It says automatic in the title and in the description, so I'm just going to start out not holding anything and see what happens. World record 17 seconds of note. Okay, definitely have to, oh, no, no, okay, I messed up. I got impatient. I thought I did have to go forward. Oh, wow. Okay. So I saw 1-1 in the title and I was confused, but this is just Super Mario Bros. 1-1, but entirely automatic. That's so cool. That's so clever to take like that very recognizable uh, level and build it like this. I wonder what kind of contraption he has dropping the springs, if it's just a bunch of conveyors or what. That's so cool. That's such a neat concept too, to start out with that mold and figure out how to use the springs. Like it feels like, again, very great concept, and B, really puzzling on how to figure out. Like I imagine that's very satisfying every time you figure out how to make those different contraptions work to get you through a particular section. Okay, now I think we're getting to some of the levels I more so expected. You'll notice both the level I'm currently hovering over and the next one both have little musical notes in their titles, so I think now we might have gotten to the musical section of the auto levels. JoJo opening made using note blocks. Okay, got some JoJo coming on. So of note, before this gets started, I remember in Mario Maker 1, like, I'm guessing this is just a horizontal musical level where there's going to be lots of things bouncing off note blocks to create the different notes, but I remember in Mario Maker 1, towards 2 or 3 years into it, we had a lot of people building contraptions where note blocks would be on tracks like we can see up here, and you'd be able to loop them for effect. And just seeing that and thinking back to that makes me think if maybe there might be some cool musical thing we could do with on and off switches on tracks to control where notes go. It would probably be really difficult, and I'm not as musically inclined to attempt something like that. But thinking about those track-based music levels and the on and off switch tracks now makes me interested in seeing if something comes from that new feature in Mario Maker 2. I'm going to just be quiet while we let the level play out, see what happens. I'm expecting some adventure. Pipe. Second section. Very cool. Oh, we even have a little post flag contraption here. Someone who definitely that's so cool. I love the idea of that little contraption there. That's great. I love it. The saw coming out of nowhere at the end. So great. Okay, now calamari incantation, like incantation, but incantation. Okay. Music level of note. One of the highest clear rates even on these auto levels. I'm wondering just a guess. Maybe there's some kind of contraption making it even harder to die than a normal auto level. Again, just going to be quiet, let the music play itself. Yeah, it traps you in a little box, so even harder to die. I could have jumped up through that cloud to die, though, if I wanted to. That's really cool. I didn't know it would lift you up onto them like that. Yeah, that's interesting. So if oh, get out of the way of that guy. If a blue skull platform carries you onto a conveyor between two POWs, I wonder if it has to be POWs or if it would work for other things. Then it lifts you up onto it. Thanks. Thank you. Really great. I'm hoping that we can find some cool machines in some of these remaining ones that we're going to go through today. Like Auto Mario, I think, is at its coolest when it's showing off really cool things you can build and use in other levels, but they're used as these very elaborate contraptions because it comes about in this genre as a necessity because you have to figure out some way to move the player to create an obstacle for them to be moved around and to make it visually appealing. And taking those things and removing whatever it is that makes you auto and making the player do them all can often lead to really interesting and cool levels outside of Auto Mario. But those machines I usually see in auto levels before anything else, or at least that was the way in Mario Maker 1. Let's see, only run. So that Wii made me think of something. I really enjoy the new effects in Mario Maker 2, which I would not have expected to going into it. If I could have picked one feature from Mario Maker 1 not to make it to Mario Maker 2, it probably would have been the sound effects and everything, but I think they did a really good job making a lot of fun ones. That was a scary spring. But overall, I think they did a really good job with the effects going into Mario Maker 2. I'm not sure what makes them so different because they're still very invasive, but something about them just makes them way more fun. I like how much this level is using sideways springs, like right there, because like just like that earlier level where things would save us at the last minute, those springs throw off my expectation of what's going to happen next so strongly. Really cool contraptions here, like I was mentioning just before this level. That spring made us do some weird things. Thanks, thank you. Nice little heart there. And GG. Very cool. Like, this level used a lot of effects, and I think they were all beneficial to the level. Like, that's not something I would have expected going in, especially because the one that got shown off in one of the previews was that weird samurai thing that was really obnoxious and blocking a lot of the screen. I'm glad I haven't seen that in too many levels I've played yet. But that level was really cool, really dope, really liked it. Here we have more music, Undertale. Okay, so that's Undertale, Splatoon, and JoJo so far. Those are our 3 music levels in the top 10 auto levels. Walk. Does it mean walk just to get onto them, or keep walking once I get on them? I'm just going to try just stopping once I get on it. Okay, I think I have to keep walking, not just because I got hit by the hammer, because of the... Yeah, that sounds more... Yeah. That's so cool. The coin, using the sound of the coins like that. And now, oh, the blue blocks. They're gonna block it, so like even things that respawn won't hit the note blocks. That's so smart. That's so smart. That's so cool using requesting. That's so cool using. So you have the note block set up, and then you have something bounce off it to create the sound in a normal musical level. But then you can't use that same section again, or it'll just make the same sound. And you definitely can't go in reverse because then it'll create that sound in reverse. But using the on and off switches, you can block them on the way back. So that just opens up a whole new like area essentially. And I'm guessing that's why. I mean, maybe it was just a creative decision, but I'm guessing that's why maybe a lot of the level wasn't caged in to stop me from like messing with the mechanism, because as far as I know, there's still a block limit, even if it's not the same as in Mario Maker 1. And to create all of those different musical sections, one going that way, one going that way, you have to use so many enemies and so many musical blocks. So much is used in the construction of that setup that um, that's just really impressive that someone figured out how to do that. Going both forward and backwards, using the walking speed plus the conveyor speed that just moves it so fast as well. Like it was maybe not even that much longer than some of the other musical levels we've seen, but think of how much more space in the level that takes up because I'm walking and being carried by the conveyor. I'm covering such a great amount of horizontal space, and it's used multiple times. That's so clever. And the little like even just at the pipe having to hit the switch before you go in so that you're going on the conveyor the right way, coming through, that's just really really interesting, really well built, very cool. I'm very impressed, and the coins at the beginning making the melody, and oh, it's just so brilliant. That one was so smart. Now we have don't move one, reach the goal after defeating all 5 piranha creepers. That doesn't seem very auto-friendly. But I'm not too familiar with... Oh, the blue ones count, not just the pink ones. I'm actually not sure what the difference between the red and the pink ones are. Like I said, I haven't played very much of 3D World, so... Okay, so I didn't even push a direction there. So you get some forward momentum just for getting into the car, and the spring just sets you off. Like I'm not holding... Okay, the spring fully changes your direction. I did not expect the car to be this usable in auto sections, but this is really cool. Does it break? Oh, okay. Oh, but the cloud's going to carry us over to... the spring is going to push us on the cloud, rather, to get us over that box. Ooh, okay. I agree with that laughter. Like, I thought something had gone wrong when I saw that there was the on and off switch. What even hit that? This is what I'm talking about with the machinery. Like, so much is going on here. Like, this person understands how a lot of these things work just better than I do. Because you'd have to be able to build something that all these different pieces interact in this way. Like, not necessarily that section, but all these different pieces to make everything work. So impressive. 25 seconds. Am I supposed to do something here? No. Okay. Still have to kill one of the Piranha Boys. What activated that one earlier? There was a thwomp falling, but it hadn't landed yet. That's cool. Using the thwomp to activate that to kill the thwomp itself. See, that's again just a really interesting machine. Using those in that way. Unfortunately, they're only in. Some things don't ever change, though. That was great. That was great. Yeah, using the thwomp to kill the thwomp, to kill itself on those things is really interesting. Overall, like those movement blocks have a lot more gameplay to them than I expected them to. I expected them to not have um, as much freedom as they do, and being able to activate it with so many different things. I think all I remember seeing in the preview was Mario ground pounding to activate them, but being able to activate them with POW blocks and thwomps is just opening up like a lot of options for cool platforming where the thwomps hit it to create the platform. Like if you run under one, the thwomp hits it to create the platform that you end up running onto. It's really, really cool. And I didn't ever think about the fact that they could be used to kill the same thwomp that activates them. Very interesting. This is one of those levels that I wish we were able to go into the editor for because, again, it just has so many cool machines to it. It has so much going on that I want to know how it works. I want to be able to break it down and just absorb that knowledge of how particular things are being constructed. Like when that thwomp was falling, it definitely wasn't the giant one towards the middle. It definitely wasn't the one that activated that um, sideways expansion block. So what was it that activated it? And how far above it was the thwomp, because that was perfectly timed, its motion to hit it when it landed as well. All very, very cool. Okay. Breath of the Wild Mipha's theme. Apparently I've already played this level. I don't remember playing this level, but we're going to check it out. So that makes 4 total musical levels in the top 10. I think this is number 10. Yeah. Walk. That's a really good attention to detail, that little track, just to speed up in that one section. Overall, very impressive, very cool. Had to adjust there slightly to catch the flagpole. Wasn't expecting that, which surprised me. Um, so yeah, those are the top 10 Auto Mario levels presently. And like I said, a lot of these levels have a lot to teach us about normal level design. Like there's so much we can learn here from both the obstacles that get created and the creative ways the creators find of moving Mario around those obstacles, because there have to be the obstacles for it to be visually interesting. Even this Mario Kart level at the very beginning had some cool platforming the cart was doing, and you can imagine how that could be twisted into making a fairly difficult level if those platform sections are spaced further out or something like that. We had this only running level where we kept getting auto-corrected by the sideways springs, and you can imagine making a level very similar to that where the sideways springs are obstacles instead that need to be avoided. Maybe a speed run level where at the very beginning of that level we were being chased by a shell and then we caught the shell to put it on. Like all these interesting built-in timers that you can have in a really tight platforming level, that this level has created these devices, these things, and figured out how they work together and what the flow of each of them is. Like if this launcher fires the shell at this point, will the thwomp hit the player before the shell connects to them? Like all these little tiny intricate things that you'll see in normal levels, but I think get maybe underappreciated here for being the same mechanisms but just used in a different way. And because you need these mechanisms to make these levels work and to make them be interesting, because they're not like other levels that are interesting based on their difficulty or anything like that. They're interesting because of the visual spectacle. So having to create that alone really pushes that forward and can give us those elements to work with in other levels. And still just overtly impressed by this Undertale level. Like the back and forth section for music, using the on and off blocks. Like I've seen levels that use on and off blocks to create different sections in the same vertical space or horizontal space. I'm working on a level that uses that in the vertical space, but this doing it with music is something I hadn't even considered, and that was really well done here. So kudos to this level creator, Annie. Way to go, Annie. But yeah, I think a lot of these are really interesting tools, a lot of really interesting designs, and should be considered when working on different levels of how to make a level not only as difficult as you want to make it, but also visually interesting and have each jump satisfying in the same way that you see all of these jumps be satisfying. It's not like auto levels like they all just carried us through. Some of the musical ones did, but often we're jumping off of turtles, jumping off of just all sorts of different enemies and obstacles to make it through. So really, really interesting levels, and I think there's a lot to learn from levels like these to incorporate into either very difficult levels or very trolley levels, which those sideways springs definitely are reminiscent of. But yeah, that's it for me and the top 10 rated auto levels in Mario Maker 2. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching.